Hi everyone, welcome to episode 9 of my fiber podcast. My name is Audrey and this is a podcast about weaving, knitting and spinning yarn. Welcome. I hope you had a nice couple of weeks. I couldn't record last week because the weather was absolutely horrendous and I didn't want to repeat last time's episode where I was constantly fighting with the light and trying to not have everything look yellowish and yucky. So yeah, as a consequence I kind of have a lot of things to show you today and I hope you will enjoy them. First, let's start with some weaving. It is finally May and Mother's Day is coming, so I decided that I would put up a couple of mini weavings for the shop because I think they're kind of cute and nice for gifts. So I whipped up seven of them. Some I had already done in the past and just finished them and hung them. So they're all here. They're hung on a full brass rod, which makes them quite heavy, but I think it gives them like a jewelry look. So I'm gonna quickly go through each one of them. This is a new one that I made. Very simple. The colorful thread in the middle is a lovely silk embroidery floss that I got from Spiral Dyed on Etsy. She makes really beautiful luxurious embroidery floss, mostly silk. They're hand dyed, some have stellina, and this is just a really nice shades of blue and green. Yeah, I have a few other colors of her threads, and I hope to put them soon in weavings. But they're kind of precious, so I have to think about how I'm going to use them so that they're not getting hidden in a mass of other more common fibers, so to say. This is another one, a simple one. Gotta have a plain white one. So yeah, just a bunch of texture. This is some Falkland, some Peruvian cream wool. Yeah. All of these, they only take a couple of hours to make, so they're really fun and they allow me to experiment on my small weaving loom, which is a small frame loom by the Unusual Pear that I could actually just show you if I was planning this podcast properly. What is it? Yeah, reaching over. There it is. So you find a lot of looms with this design now, sadly. She's been quite copied, but I highly recommend you just get her looms. She's the Unusual Pear on Etsy. It's bamboo, they're sturdy, they're smooth and nice, and they're really convenient for small projects. And they also easily allow you to weave in a tubular, like weave around piece, basically a tube, which I was thinking I would do a tutorial to show how to warp these kind of looms or a more classic frame loom to do that. But yes, all of those mini weavings I'm showing you were made on this little loom right here, which is really cute and convenient. I'm a little bit out of practice, so I feel like I'm speaking weirdly. I'm also way too close to the camera. Not creepy at all. Anyway, this is another one. I was actually experimenting because I have an order for a big custom weaving and I've made a lot of thinking. I've actually started it yesterday, but yeah, I'm taking it quite slowly and mindfully because I really want to make it look as best as it can look. So this was one experiment that I did for it. I was kind of trying to see what would be the best way to transition from one color to another to make it as smooth as possible. This didn't turn out quite how I wanted, but it still looks nice. It's half alone like this. Really bubblegum and cute and 4 years old yarn thing. Since I put a lot of different threads in it, the back was super messy, obviously, and all the back threads were grouped together, so it was not quite possible to weave them in like you usually do. So what I did is that I used the glue spray thing, the light one, and I just put a back cotton fabric to clean up the back a little bit, and I actually like this. So I like how it looks. It makes it stay really flat. Everything is secured. It's really nice. So yeah, if you have a messy weaving, just hide everything. It's like you hide everything under your bed, and then now you hide everything under a cotton fabric for weaving. Can't speak. I'm telling you, I'm definitely out of practice. We do as we can, can't we? Can we? Now another one with this messy back that was fixed. Yeah, those are random organic shapes in blues and greens and greys. And since the colors are a little bit closer to each other, the transition worked better, but it's still not the look I wanted. I'll show you later what I ended up doing in the real weaving. Yeah. They're heavy, I'm telling you, with this brass rod. And now are 3 ones that are not new, but I thought they looked nice for this occasion. They're a little bit bigger. This is wonky one. I made it basically to show off that yellow canary bird roving. I've also used, this is linen and cotton blend with some gold stellina. I don't know if you can see that it shines. No, you can't, but it shines, trust me. Yeah. With like a crazy little fringe. And I only have 2 more left, I promise. It's almost over. This one, which is a little bit more work demanding. I made kind of round shapes, kind of look like moon phases. People said it looked like planets, which it kind of does. English. I used a bunch of Handdyed yarns. These 2 are from the same indie dyer. It's an indie dyer that's based in Finland, and her Etsy shop is Lanitium x Machina. Lanitium x Machina. Yarn out of the machine. And this is SMAK Superfiber, which is a group of indie dyers from Australia, New Zealand. One of the 2. And it's a DK weight. Yeah, the rest is cream, and I inserted. So these are kind of the equivalent of this, but as an empty tube that I cut and used as long beads to put in the weaving, which was quite an annoying process to do. I didn't think it would be that fiddly because I had to put them while I was warping the loom, so I basically had to thread the warp with those and then keep warping at the same time and making sure they stay in place. But yeah, oh, and I also made like a cute little thing with the fringe. This is the most complicated one. And the last one, which I really like, and I plan to do more of small weavings in this style, because I don't know, they're really simple and I think they look good. And the color combination is infinite. This is a KnitPicks Palette in a nice, yeah, it's a reddish rusty pink. So it's not pink, it's not Barbie pink, but yeah. And with a nice cotton, beige cotton and the super long fringe. I really like how that looks. This is one of my favorites, definitely. Yeah, so all of them are still in my Etsy shop if you want to have a look. Yeah, and I didn't say it here, but I do have a promo code for May, so all the info will be in the description bar down below. Link to my shop and all the different things. So yeah, I have more weaving things to show you. Yes, I do. I believe I showed you last time that I started a black and yellow weave. I think I showed you last time. I don't remember what I showed you and what I didn't show you because of the 2 weeks delay. But I finished what I wanted to do with it, which is a bag. I'm sorry, it needs ironing. Yeah, so I basically wove this piece, which was a combination of simple plain weave and some twill here. Can't really see because it's black, but you can tell in real life how it is. And this is the same crazy yellow roving that I showed you. And I really like how it looks in contrast with the black warp thread. This is quite a thick warp, so it shows up really nicely. Yeah, it's the Hufflepuff bag, in case you were wondering where I was going with those colors. So yeah, I made these. Then I went to sew it, and I made a flat bottom. Now this was my first time sewing a flat bottom, and saying it right away is not my favorite thing. But yeah, I managed to. I used a simple cotton fabric, black fabric, that I ironed on some interfacing in, and then I realized maybe you should put the interfacing on the lining fabric. Maybe that would look better. I don't know, how do you do this? Is someone good at sewing? I'm going to be really self-conscious about my pronunciation now, because I know like the grammar police is watching. So yeah, sewing. I interfaced this black fabric. I sewed. You see, that's not working. I attached it to my weaving to have a complete front. Then I also have the back all in white. I put the zipper on and I put the lining, and ta-da! It's flamingos. So they're dark blue, but not saying. It still works. It still looked black. Yeah, I just thought that was so. I was actually looking for the zipper because I wanted a yellow zipper and I didn't have one, and I stumbled upon the fabric and okay, sold. It works. It works for it. And yeah, that's how you end up with it's a little bit wonky, but it still stands, sort of. It stands better when it has things inside, but it's look, you can't, like, I could totally be cheating. No, I can't, because you can see both my hands. It stands. Yeah. I don't know about the boxed bottom. I'm glad it worked. It's definitely not. You can't tell really, but the sewing don't match, which makes it a little bit bending weirdly. But I don't know if I'll keep making them box bottom. It's not my favorite thing, but I admit that it's convenient, so I will practice. I will practice. Although I really need to get on sewing garments with that sewing machine. Sewing. I need to remember that it's Katie's So What from inside number 23. So what? Okay, enough. Like I said, I have a big weave in the plans. I started it yesterday. I'm gonna pop him a picture here so you can see what I'm talking about. It's gonna be quite a big piece, and it's all gonna be about merging random shapes of colors into each other. And what I did as a start, I started at the bottom of the weave. What I did is I actually mixed the two yarns together at some point. They were both, so let me show you. It's all gonna be in shades of burgundy and other dark teals and purples. So what I did is that I used this yarn first, which is the burgundy shape that you can see. Please, son. It's like my hair, okay? And and this one, which is a more muted brownish red. And since they're both several plies, this is a 4-ply cotton and this is a 2-ply. It's a KnitPicks Palette, which I really like for weaving because it has a little halo which makes the cloth look really smooth and uniform, but it's not too fuzzy. So yeah, KnitPicks palettes for weaving, good. And this is a 2-ply. So basically what I did is that I unplied them and made this mix of yarn. That's what I have left. So focus. No focusing. I'm sorry. Yeah, and that's what I use for the transition between the two colors, and I am really happy with how it looks. I won't be able to do it on every spot because at some in some part the shapes are going to go into each other like horizontally like this, so the merging is going to be done. I'm going to do the merging differently, more like intertwining pieces into each other. But whenever I can mix the yarns like this, I will. It's a little bit more work, but it gives a really nice result, and I'm glad I had the idea of doing it because it looks great. So yeah, the idea is not to have a shape that looks like a rectangle or a triangle or something. No, completely random. So I'm going to go shape by shape, merging the colors into each other. I have those burgundies. I have this more rusty red. It looks really beautiful in the sunlight. I have purples, and I have navy blue and dark greens. You see, this is basically going to be the KnitPicks palette weave. So yeah, I can't show it to you live because it's quite big, and I am using the loom that my dad built for me. He just basically took 4 pieces of wood and stuck them together, and I put nails on the extremity to be able to warp it. And yeah, that works really nice. But I can't, like it's too big. It's 1 meter square, so I can't show it to you. Plus it looks a little bit, it's homemade, it looks a little bit wonky. But I'll keep popping in pictures of it as I progress. And yeah, I can't wait to be doing some more work on that. Like I said, I'm going to go quite slowly and thinking through to make sure that it looks nice. I'm not gonna rush it because yeah, it's an important one. And yeah, there will be some more complex structural things, including a big waterfall fringe that I'm not sure how it's going to look and how I'm going to be able to incorporate it into the main piece. But it should work fine. And with that never-ending ramble, I am done with weaving. And I am going to quickly show you some spinning work that I've done. It's for that same weaving. I have spun this. This is a silver roving that I got from the Unusual Pear. The girl with the loom, she also sells yarns and rovings. And she had a silver roving, so I kind of jumped on it. And I did a simple ply, nothing fancy. It's gonna be the highlight color of that weaving. So I might need more. I actually didn't measure it because it's to use immediately. So I'll see. I still have quite a bunch of it left. So if I need more, I'll spin more. And I want to show you what I am currently spinning, which is a dark forest green silk. It's the colorway Ireland by DHG, which is an Italian brand where I get most of my fibers to spin and to weave. In France, they are distributed by an online shop, but they also ship all throughout Europe and I believe worldwide. So they have alpaca, silk, merino roving, and they're really nice. And this is what I've been doing. Again, I promise I'm not sponsored by the Unusual Pear this episode, even though it looks like I am. It's her drop spindle, which is my favorite. I really love my Turkish spindle, but it's kind of different. Normal drop spindle, this is my favorite. It's super convenient to have all those different places when you can place the thread and keep it secure when you're going to spin a new length. I put up a video showing you how I spin. I hope I'm going to be able to edit it properly. Yeah, and if I can, and I hope I can, I'm going to insert it now and talk to you about spinning silk while you're looking at the video. Spinning silk is often recommended for beginners because it is strong. It's super strong. Like, you'll never be able to break it. I don't know how I could on earth break it, even if I went super long and super thin. Yeah, so I'm going to make an awkward serious face in that video. It's because I keep checking that I am in frame, that the drafting action is in frame, so I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't like spinning silk. It's pleasant in a way because the fiber is so strong and it naturally goes into a certain shape. What I mean is that drafting it is really easy. You have to draft it with your hands quite far from one another. And the fibers, it's like the fibers themselves go into the thread shape that you're doing. They extend naturally and really easily. And yeah, you basically have really little fiber management to do with silk, because it's not like when you're spinning BFL, for example, which is a little bit messier and you kind of have to force it into an elongated thread. The silk does it on its own. Like, you just have to pull really slightly on it and it's going to make that perfect smooth thread shape that you can then put the twist in to spin it. But so yeah, I understand why it's advised for beginners, because it makes the drafting easier and you can focus more on your on coordinating your spinning. And if you're spinning on a wheel, I think I've never spun on a wheel, but if you're spinning on a wheel, I think it might be a good idea to help you manage your feet better. But yeah, so I remember on the video I tried to get different views because I usually spin standing up so that I don't have to constantly wind the yarn on the drop spindle. But for the purpose of the video I had to sit down so you could see what I was doing. So yeah, there are going to be a few changing in frames, but I hope you'll be able to see the drafting process close enough. For those who are completely beginners or unaware of spinning, drafting means basically separating the fibers, pulling them out to make them into the thread shape. And I'm losing my voice. Anyway, what else did I want to say? So yeah, the reason I don't like spinning with silk is because since it goes into a thread shape alone, when you don't want it to go into the shape it's going, it's annoying. You basically can't manage the fibers as easily, and if you have a little clump of fiber that you want to remove, or you want the thread to look another way, it's gonna be really hard to move it. Basically, when you have to fiber manage for whatever reason, it's harder because the fibers are already strongly going into one direction. So I am not very good at not ending up with fiber clumps. I often have clumps in my fiber when I spin, so I have to remove them. And with silk, it's harder to pull them out because it's so strong that it's already made into a thread. Yeah, I hope I made that clear. But yeah, if you're a spinner yourself, I would like to know what you think about spinning silk. And this is about spinning silk from a big fiber roving type thing. I have silk hankies, lovely hand-dyed silk hankies that I'm going to spin soon. I feel so random today. I feel like I can't talk properly and I'm making a mess of things and not able to explain things right. But yeah, I hope it's still watchable. I am done with spinning. Hopefully that little spinning show video would have been decent. And yeah, we can jump into knitting. I have a finished knitted object. I don't know if you can guess what it is. I finished my Puntilla sweater by Joji Locatelli. And Amy Florence style. This is how it looks like. Yeah. I am more happy than I thought I would be. It fits nicely, it's comfy, the yarn looks good and is soft, even though it's not a fancy yarn at all. I used Phildar yarn, the Partner Baby, which is mostly acrylic and nylon, and it has a little bit of wool but not so much, so it's not that warm. Good for this time of the year. And yeah, if you remember, I kind of had an issue with the sleeve forming here. I basically followed the pattern and only had half the width that I needed for my upper arm, which is weird. So I had to knit longer, and you can kind of tell that because the shoulder seam is not sitting exactly right, and I have a tiny bit of extra fabric here, and it sits, depending on how I'm standing, you can see that it's a little bit odd, but I expected it to be much worse, to be honest. And since it's the sweater has a lot of positive ease, it just looks like it's a comfy sweater. And to be honest, I sometimes buy sweaters like from H&M or whatever that also have that issue, so not my fault. And yeah, I'm really glad I did the cuffs shorter at the sleeves, and I'm really glad I did because they're already long enough for me. And yeah, lessons learned. I should learn how to make cleaner short rows. You can see my reps and turns here. I don't quite like picking up stitches for the sleeves because it makes this line, which since I have ease here, it's okay, it's still comfortable, but I don't like feeling that line on my arm. And yeah. What else? Yeah, the pattern calls for lace details on the cuffs and on the hem. I wasn't sure until the last time if I was going to make it or not. I went to I'm not going to make it, from I'm not going to make it to I'm going to make it, and then in the end I didn't make it. I wanted to make it in white, but I don't know, I feel like the shape that I got, which is kind of a jumper style sweater, it will look odd, I think, having that really girly romantic lace at the bottom. I don't know, I like it like this, so I'm gonna keep it like this. And yeah, I feel it's not going to be a construction that I enjoy. I understand that it's an unusual construction for top-down sweaters, so it was interesting and I learned a lot, but yeah, not quite sure about the whole this sleeve thing. So even though I'm really happy with the finished product and happily surprised with it, I'm still unsure about the construction in this pattern. Next I'm going to try to knit a bunch of raglan sleeves. I'm doing this, but I don't remember. Yes, it's like this. Raglan sleeves, top down sweaters, so I'll see how that goes for me, hopefully well enough. But I kind of feel like the sleeve problem is going to be like a nightmare for me every time, because I read a lot of people complaining about how the shaping is that in that area is a little bit difficult, and how with most patterns they end up having something tight. I don't like having something tight. I don't have especially big arms, but I mean 16 centimeters wide is not working. So yeah, and I'm not experienced enough to be able to fix it. So I'll see how it goes. I've already started something in the lines of that will as well require me to check those sleeve issues, so I'll talk to you about it in a little bit. But yeah, I believe that's all I had to say about that sweater. And yeah, I have another finished object, which is I think last time I had finished one of those socks already, and so now I have the pair. The two of them are here. These are the Veil of Rosebuds socks by Anne Hanson. It's a pattern you can find in the Knitter's Books of Socks. Knitter's Book of Socks. And so I finished the second one. This is my third pair of... Oh, Jesus Christ. Third pair of socks. And first lace socks. I really like how the pattern looks. It's really pretty. They're a little bit too stretched on me, and for it to be as pretty. They're going to loosen up with time, I think, so that doesn't bother me more than anything. But yeah, basically it's like I said last time, 56 stitches maybe is not enough for a medium size like me, because the pattern jumps from 56 to 72, so definitely not. And yeah, I need to be more careful with the cast-ons so that they're elastic enough, and lacy socks without a few centimeters of stockinette on top of the heel is not ideal. But I'm still happy with how they turned out. They fit. The pattern is really beautiful. The yarn is Cascade Heritage in 56-55 color. Yeah, looks good. I'm glad I had enough yarn, and I had a little bit left. I think I could have done an extra leg repeat, but I kind of like lacy socks to be short, because I'm thinking if you wear them with more like city shoes and you want them to show a little bit on top, it can't be much higher. It's gonna look odd if not. So yeah, happy with those. I had another sock in progress, and I finished one in this pair, and this is it. This is my weird sock. So the idea with this is that I've always liked how the pearl side looked in this really tight gauge. I don't know, I think it looks nice, all those little bumps, and the color distribution is different. It has different effect. It looks stripy, but it's not stripy. I like the texture. So I decided that I would need a pair of socks with a really nice colored yarn, and that I would wear them like this, inside out. So I am using this yarn is Dragonfruit by Marianthi Yarns, which is a German indie dyer, and she has lots of really nice colorways. You can find her on Etsy. Yeah, so I did 60 stitches for this one, because my 64 stitches sock, they're nice, but I feel that they're going to be a little bit too loose over time. I've worn one pair is definitely the pair that I knit on 9-inch circular is definitely too big, so they're comfy house socks, which is okay. And the pair that I knit on DP ends is fine, but it's going to loosen up. So I wanted to try 60 stitches on 2.25 millimeter needles. I magic looked, and it was not pleasant. I think my cable is bad. I'm using, let's see, what needles am I using? I think it's Addy's. Yeah, it's Addy lace needles. So I'm using the 2.25 millimeter in a meter cable. And yeah, they're new, so I guess that's why the cable feels a little bit rigid. Have started the other sock so I can show you. I've just knitted the cuff, and you see it has little kinks. I don't know. I know that the cable is going to be more flexible and loosen up with time, but my problem is also that I kept changing where my magic looping and the beginning of the round was, because if not I would get massive ladders, worse than GPNs. And you can still see, like, at the places, these have not been washed and blocked, so I think it's going to smoothen out with the washing. But I still don't like that you can see all these differences in gauge. Like, look at here, there's a bump here, bump here, bump here. Yeah, I don't like those bumps. Here is a big one. yeah, not a fan of magic looping right now. I hope they will get more flexible. My problem is I basically started knitting socks, so all my sock needles that I could magic loop on are brand new, so the cables are hard. If you have any experience with those Addy lace needles, and you can reassure me and tell me, yes, they're going to get smoother, please do. Because right now I'm a little bit anti magic loop for that, because of that. But it's okay, because I like 9-inch, so. But I can't 9-inch with everything. I'm gonna end up going with DPNs, even though I said that DPNs might not be my thing. But I knitted the lace Veil of Rosebud socks on DPNs and it went nice. So, but yeah, what I did with those, I didn't follow any pattern, is I made a 1x1 rib, and then I knitted, I didn't bother purling. I knitted, I have something to tell you about. I hope I won't forget. So I knitted and used, and with the purse side facing me so that I could see how it was going to look. And I made a fish lip kiss heel, but I wanted the knit side to show on the fish lip kiss heel, because like the inside of the fish lip kiss heel, it's not like with the wraps and turns and stuff. I don't like it. It doesn't look clean. So for that, I actually had to purl an extra, like to make an extra row at the beginning and at the end of the heel to be able to turn my my knitting side, because I can't mirror knit at all, so I couldn't switch like this. So I had to make an extra row at the beginning and at the end of the heel, and because of that I had to pick up stitch at the corners so that it wouldn't make a hole. I just decreased them on the next thing. I've written everything in my on my Ravelry page for it, and I'm glad of how it turned out. Kind of improvised with it, but yeah, I like doing the fish lip kiss heel. It's I memorized it by now. I know what I have to do, so it's good. I used 29 stitches for the heel, because you need to have a multiple of 3 plus 2, so yeah, 29 for 60 stitch sock. It fits really well. 60 stitch is good for me. And yeah, then I just made a simple toe as well on the knit side, because same thing, the decreasing, I don't like the look of decreasing in the purl side, and I think it looks fun. I really like it. I'm glad I experimented with that. And yeah, I usually finish my second sock way faster than the first one, so I should be good with that soon. And yes, what I wanted to talk about is that while I was knitting on this, and I was doing the unending body stockinette, I got really bored of it, and I had done the sleeves and I had done the collar, and I just had to get on with the body, but it was long. So I knit English style, I throw my yarn, and I also used to knit combination style, which means that basically I wrapped the yarn on the, like, instead of, let me demonstrate, which basically means that instead of wrapping the yarn like this, I wrapped it like this, because I ended up having my stitches twisted. They were not twisted, but I had to knit through the back loop. I knitted through the back loop so that I had a normal stitch thing, and I didn't realize that. I always thought I was knitting. I noticed that I was knitting weirdly, but I didn't know what I was doing. And I recently discovered that that was a thing, and that it was called combination knitting, and that it was the reason why it didn't work when I tried to make a twisted rib. Because I always read like knit through the back loop to twist the stitch, and I'm like, it didn't click in my head because I didn't know about combination knitting, and I didn't know it was the thing. And yeah, I don't know why I picked up knitting like this. I guess it just felt natural to me, and no, I never actually looked into it. So I recently found out that I was just doing it like the other way. I changed that. Now I knit in the right way, so I knit through the front loop, and I'm going to be able to do twisted stitches, which is good, a good news. Yeah, so why was I talking about this? Yes, because I was knitting the body of this English style combination, and I was getting really bored. It was slow, and I already said that I'm not attracted to continental knitting at all because it hurts my left hand too much. However, I stumbled upon Very Pink Knits YouTube channel. I've already known about her, and she does really nice tutorial. If you're looking for a knitting tutorial that is not an hour long to show you 2 stitches and bad audio and everything, just check Very Pink Knits, because she makes it really clear, really easy to follow, and efficient. So I really like her, and I was watching her videos, which is where I learned that I was knitting combination, and I learned that I was going to stop doing it because it wasn't working for me. And I saw her video about Portuguese knitting, which is the one where you have the yarn wrapped around your neck. You know, you're like this. And I thought, oh, well, that looks fun. I'm gonna try it. So I did what can be really stupid, is that I learned how to knit a different way on a project that I already had knitted on. But I found that Portuguese knitting is amazing. I really enjoyed it, and I didn't get any tension issues, because I find that if your tension is too loose, you can't pull the stitch. It doesn't work. And if your tension is too tight, you can't pull it either. It's like really hard on the needles. So I immediately got a tension that was good, and that was a little bit looser that I sometimes tend to knit, but it's good because I am a very tight knitter if I knit English style, which is not always a good thing, because I always end up having to take much bigger needle than what the patterns call for, and then I don't like the fabric. So I'm really glad with Portuguese knitting style I can have a looser gauge, and it being quicker. I still have to fiddle around with it, but I'm used to it. I like it. I don't think I will use it for patterns, like if I do lace, or if I have a lot of increasing and decreasing. Not that it's more difficult, it's just at the beginning at least I will only use Portuguese knitting when I have to do garter or a lot of stockinette basically, and yeah, that was really fun. I'm glad I learned it, and now I know how to knit another way, and I'm gonna keep alternating between those, and it's really pleasant. Also, the purse stitch is amazing, and I found I actually tried to what did I do? Yes, the ribbing. I did it Portuguese knitting style, and it's great. I didn't like ribbing English style. Really not. It was really fuzzy and slow and lots of movements. But with Portuguese knitting style, you basically just have to flick the yarn over and under the needle, and it works really well and it's super fast. So I also made the ribbing of that cuff in Portuguese knitting. So yeah, and that's another reason why I'm a little bit skeptical about Magic Loop, because Portuguese knitting with Magic Loop on socks, it's a little bit fuzzy to have to deal, because you basically you have to deal with that thread of yarn here, and then you have like the two pieces of the cable that are really rigid once again, and so I didn't like I didn't quite like Magic Looping in Portuguese knitting. However, when I'm going to come back to my 9-inch circulars, it's definitely going to make a difference. Yeah, Portuguese knitting. Who would have thought? Certainly not me. But yeah, that was my little talk about that. And that's it with the finished and half-finished knitting project. I have started 2 new things, and I have refrained from starting a ton of others, because as you know, I want to knit the flax sweater by Tin Can Knits for my boyfriend. I want to knit the faded sweater by Andrea Mowry for me. All the sweaters, but I still have started 2 things. The first thing is the Together Shawl by Andrea Mowry. All the patterns by Andrea Mowry. I'm going to knit them all, I think. I'm going to end up doing that. And it is looking like this. So it's gonna be a very blue, it's so blue. Such a blue podcast. Not going to sing, I promise. Yeah, it's a simple garter stitch and lace pattern. For those who have made the Find Your Fade shawl, the lace is quite similar, except you don't have that central spine. And I really like how it looks so far. I wasn't sure that the 2 colors would be contrasty enough for it to look good, but it does, so I'm really happy about that. I'm using, this is a hand-painted Stroll by KnitPicks in the colorway Northern Lights, and it's this variegated blue. I really like how it's knitting up. I really like it. It's a garter, a simple garter. It's really squishy. And the lace, I used a UK based indie dyer, which is Artist's Palette in the colorway Glacier. Glacier, I don't know how I'm supposed to pronounce that. Which is a really nice sock yarn, really sturdy. It's a little bit on the heavy side of sock yarn, but I think it gives a really lovely stitch definition for the lace. Look at that, it looks really nice. So yeah, it's basically stripes of garter and lace in those 2 contrasting colors. It's gonna be a big shawl again, because I have 2 skeins of that and just 1 of that, which I hope is going to be enough. It should be enough. She just calls for around 400 meters, which is good. But yeah, oh, it's beautiful. Every time I look at it, I want to knit on it, because I can't wait to have it done. Yeah, very blue. Very, very blue. So this is on the works. And my last work in progress is a featherweight cardigan. I I don't know, I wasn't attracted to that pattern for some reason. I don't like the rolled version, but I wanted a nice lacy light cardigan that I could wear in summer, and I wanted this because I got this, which is Peony by Knit Cosmic Strings, and Peony is a gorgeous colorway. And let me actually find the other skein of this colorway that I have. Okay. It's lovely. It's very girly, I admit it, but it's lovely. I got this a while ago, and this is a DK weight. This is their Angel DK base, and it is 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, 10% cashmere. So I don't need to tell you that this is the softest thing in the universe. If you see that base in their shops, just take it. And you have to be faster than me. It's so soft. It's amazing. But I also really like the color. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it because I only have one skein, and I want to make like something for like a shawl, and it's only 225 meters. I wanted to pair it with a white contrast yarn, I think. So I think I'm going to try to find a shawl pattern that I can use this as the main color and put a white contrast like at the edges, just to get a little bit more yardage and a bigger shawl, but have this be the main thing. I'm just going to stay like that. And yeah, so I love this color, and in their recent update they released Peony as a lace weight, and it's their lace weight is I think I have kept the label somewhere. Yes, the lace weight is 100% superwash merino, so it's still good and nice and soft and strong, and it is 1,200 meters. So yeah, it's a long meterage, and I wanted a cardigan out of it, a summer cardigan, you know. So I browsed Ravelry a lot, and I ended up picking the Featherweight cardigan because it is initially written for lace. Even though a lot of people have been knitting it in fingering weight, the patterns call for lace. It calls for a lace that is a little bit heavier than these. So I have gauge. How? I'm using the same needles. I'm using a 4mm, and I have gauge. What? 24 stitches per 10 centimeters, I think. And this is how my fabric looks like. So it is really light and transparent. You can see me through it. But I like it. I was a bit hesitant at first, as if it was going to be okay, but I think it's going to be nice. I want it to be like a really nice drapey cardigan that I can just put on a light top in the summer. So yeah, and I'm gonna stay like this so you can see the color. So I am knitting the second size. I should be okay meterage wise, especially since I want maximum my sleeves to be like at the elbow max. If I have to make them shorter to be able to have a more consistent body, it's fine, I will. I don't mind a cropped body either. So yeah, I just want it to fit, basically. It's my problem. And again, I'm looking at the finished measurement thing. I had to empty my phone right now. So I was saying that looking at the finished measurements in the pattern, I am knitting the second size, which is like 3-4 centimeters ease, positive ease for my bust, but for the upper arm it's 2-3 centimeters less, negative ease. And yeah, it's okay, I can have negative ease as a sleeve, but it seems tight. It seems tight. And am I weird? Is everybody 95 centimeters bust and 25 centimeters arm? So I hope it's going to be okay, and that I will easily see if that fits or not. I am so working the increases, and I like it so far because I can really see what's going to be the sleeve, basically the sleeve. How French was that? So the sleeve is going to be between these two stitch markers. So I'll easily see if that's okay or not. But if it's not okay, what do I do? Because I started knitting with one size, and if I keep growing, I'm gonna end up with one size for the top back and another size for the body and the sleeves. Is that okay? Not sure. I'm really not sure. I assume that if it's just one size different, it's okay, but yeah. So it's going to be very light and airy, and hopefully it will fit, and hopefully I will have enough yarn, because I just have this, and this is it. This is going to be a cardigan. It's a kilometer in here. It should be okay, right? I hope it will. But I absolutely love how the yarn is knitting up. It's beautiful, and that's why I really, really hope it's going to fit me. Really, really hope so. So I'm going to work on this to get closer to a point where I'm going to be more calm about whether or not it's going to fit me, because I am really stressed about it. And yeah, really love this colorway. Absolutely love this colorway. And yeah, it makes me think that I still keep this one, and I have to look for a pattern for it. I'm just gonna keep it as a skein like this. Anyway, enough. I guess this is all for all my knitting work. I have showed you last time my crochet magic cake knot blanket madness thing, and I have done a couple of clusters in that, but slowly, nothing. I'm just looking at my yarn here. Nothing major, so I'm not going to keep showing it to you. And I just wanted to show you some pretty yarn, because I don't have a whole acquisition segment here, because I know it's just going to be an excuse to buy more yarn, which I don't want. But so it's by Knit Cosmic Strings again. Totally, they should totally sponsor me. They had a yarn club for spring, and the last one arrived, and I just wanted to show you. So I don't understand why their shop is not being ganged up upon every time they have an update. It's really easy to get the yarn. They have a lot in stock all the time. You don't have to make it to the precise date and hour of the update. which you do for a lot of indie dyers now. I totally was a creep in one of Made by Black Elephant updates recently. It's like I had the page open for half an hour before the update and I just went like completely savage on it. But it's not the case for Knit Cosmic Strings. It's still really easy to get the yarn, and I don't understand why, because it's gorgeous and they should be out of stock all the time. Even though, no, please no, because I like having the yarn available. So they had a yarn club for spring and the last one arrived, and I just want to show you what they look like. Look. So I'm not showing them in the right order. So they're on their sock base, which is super soft and super generous yardage. It is 75/25 super rush merino nylon. It's a 4-ply and it has 425 meters per 100 grams. So that's 460 yards. And look at those colors. So this came first and it came with a mini skein, which looks really good together. Kind of blue. Like there are masters of speckles. Like, look at this. Masters of speckles, I'm telling you. And this was the second one. More pink. I was really glad to have this because I was in a coral craze phase. And it's called Coral. And yeah, the first one, the blue one, is called Spring Breeze Coral. And this was the last one that arrived last week. And I really love it. They tend to do crazy colored skeins. And so this is more muted and absolutely beautiful. And I was really happy to get a skein like this. This is called Nest. How fitting. How fitting with all the black speckles. So yeah. Totally check Knit Cosmic Strings out. They are based in Edinburgh, so I know a lot of people found them after the yarn festival. Yeah. Lovely. I really like yarn clubs. I think it's a good way because you get 3 skeins. That's a lot, but they're spread out, so I was expecting them and didn't feel like I should buy a ton of yarn besides that, because I knew they were coming, so it's kind of like a little satisfaction preventing you from going mad. But yeah, it's really sweet. Really sweet and nice colors. And yeah, that was just the pretty candy yarn I wanted to show you today. And yeah, I think we are done. I expect this episode to be long again. I'm going to edit it right now. I hope it wasn't too weird and rambly and messy and I can't talk. So I'm going to stop right here. Have a lovely day and night and week. Hopefully the weather will allow me to film every week now. It should be, because please freaking spring and summer. Even though my birthday is coming and I know it's always raining around my birthday, because why would we be happy about being born in June if it's raining every time? Anyway, yeah, I see you next time. Bye bye.